Congressman Adam Kinzinger is still with me. He's on Capitol Hill. Congressman, listen to what President Obama had to say in Berlin just a few hours ago about how he hopes President-elect Trump will stand up to Vladimir Putin's Russia.
My hope is that he does not simply take a realpolitik approach and suggest that, if we just cut some deals with Russia, even if it hurts people, or even if it violates international norms, or even if it leaves smaller countries vulnerable.
Are you comfortable that President-elect Trump will stand up to Russia?
Well, it's remaining to be seen. I've been really very impressed with what I've seen so far. Names floated out of the transition team. Really what I think was the day basically Trump won, the weight of the world, the weight of the presidency coming on to him, and realizing that, this is a big deal. And now getting spun up on these issues, really beginning to understand the threat that Russia poses. I'm seeing some optimistic things, seeing some great things on the domestic side. I'm starting to get more optimistic when it comes to foreign policy. But the point I'll point out on the president, and I agree with what he said, is that, it was under this president, frankly, that Russia was allowed to get a foothold into Syria and now is participating with Assad and killing 500,000 people and 50,000 children. So I do hope President-elect Trump stands up to Russia more aggressively than what we've had so far.
There was legislation that came up on the House today that would have sanctioned Russia for the cyber attacks on the U.S. that impacted the U.S. elections. You told me back in September that you suspected Russia was behind the hack of the Democratic National Committee. Wouldn't this measure have at least done something to hold Russia accountable for trying to meddle in the election?
Oh, sure. Yeah. And I think, going forward, I think we need to still find out, by the way, with every amount of proof we can, if they were in fact behind it, who was associated with that. This is a big deal. This doesn't end with Election Day. But especially going forward, we cannot set a precedence. We're not, an old satellite country of the Soviet Union. We're the United States of America. So to allow any country to come in and try to mess with an election system with information or whatever is a big, serious problem. And so not just that, but you also can get into, if you find information on somebody, for instance, this is spycraft, where somebody can turn them into spies for the state by having embarrassing information. So cyber protection is extremely important. It's something our committee's taken up, but we actually have to move faster because unfortunately technology is moving faster than the works of government in securing it.
Listen to National Security Agency Chief Admiral Mike Rogers talking to the Wall Street Journal about the hack of the DNC, saying it was intentional and done by a nation state. Take a listen.
There shouldn't be any doubt in anybody's mind. This was not something that was done casually. This was not something that was done by chance. This was not a target that was selected purely arbitrarily. This was a conscious effort by a nation state to attempt to achieve a specific effect.
If we find out definitively that it was Russia, what do you think needs to be done? Because you know better than I, okay, it's the DNC and John Podesta targeted this year. Next year, it's the RNC.
Yep.
And who knows, Steve Bannon or Reince Priebus.
Yeah, so, when it comes to cyber issues, first off, defense is the best offense. So if we can defend that information, that's important. Understand that, what you send out on email can be revealed. But the other thing is, I think this is almost going to have to go to a level of what it was in the Cold War with mutual assured destruction with nuclear weapons. An understanding that, you can always find cyber vulnerabilities, but if something like this happens, expect something like this even greater to happen to you. There was discussion about, there's very embarrassing information that probably could be revealed to some level about Vladimir Putin and his business dealings overseas. You have to get to a level where we're willing to go to the wall to also, so that somebody understands that any attack on our sovereignty would result in at least equal, if not greater, penalties for them.
Admiral Rogers, while we're talking about Admiral Rogers, he was at Trump Tower today to discuss potentially taking the helm at the CIA, we're told. Under President Obama, drone strikes and covert counterterrorism operations were largely shifted from the CIA to the Pentagon, which meant more congressional notification, a measure more of transparency. One would think, and I'm just hypothesizing here, but one would think that installing a military guy at the CIA could signal a shift of those operations back to the CIA, back into the shadows. Would you be comfortable with that?
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily signaling it, but let's say theoretically that something like that would happen. I think there needs, anytime you can have more congressional oversight is obviously better. You have an intelligence committee out here that reviews this kind of stuff, which is important. I think drone strikes and any kind of counterterrorism operation shouldn't be put necessarily in, where it's going to mean the best politically, but should be put where it's going to be the most effective. And if the CIA has better footprints in certain countries that the DoD doesn't, and vice versa, it ought to be given control there. I mean, our number one goal needs to be within the confines of, good humanity and Constitution to destroy the enemy that's trying to destroy us. So wherever we can do that best, I'm all for.
Congressman, thank you, and congratulations on your reelection, by the way.
Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it.